time, there was a princess named Snow White, had rosy pink cheeks, pale white skin, and hair as dark as the night. Snow White's mother died a very long time ago, so Snow White and her father lived alone in the castle until one day when Snow White's father fell in love with another woman and they got happily married. The woman was very beautiful. She had beauty unlike any other, but she was wicked and cruel and always obsessed about her beauty. She forced Snow White to become her servant even though she was a princess. And this was because the evil queen was jealous of Snow White's beauty at such a young age. And since Snow White's father, the king, was very busy, he knew nothing about this. The evil queen also had a magic mirror, and every morning she would go to her magic mirror and ask, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" And the magic mirror would usually say, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." And only this answer would make the queen happy. On the other hand, Snow White was not just beautiful, but also kind and thoughtful. Every time she finished doing her chores, she would go outside and help the villagers. The villagers always praised Snow White for her kindness. But one fateful day, when the evil queen got up and asked the mirror, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" This time the magic mirror said, "You, my queen, are indeed very beautiful, but Snow White is now the fairest of them all." Hearing this, the queen was furious. She was so mad, she threw a fit and threw everything around her. After the evil queen calmed down, she hired a hunter to kill Snow White. But the hunter, knowing of Snow White's kindness, said otherwise. "Oh no, your highness, I'm really sorry, but I can't do that. Snow White is kind and innocent. She doesn't deserve this." "I don't care. Just bring her to the woods and kill her, and bring me her heart as well, or else." Okay, your highness, I'll get going." The hunter went to Snow White and asked her to follow him into the woods. As Snow White and the hunter were walking past some trees, an injured bird fell down from the branches. Snow White took care of it until it was feeling better and it could finally fly away. The hunter, seeing Snow White's kindness, thought to himself, "Oh my, Snow White is so kind. I really shouldn't do this to her." The hunter then told Snow White that the queen was planning to kill her and that she should go into the woods and hide. After Snow White went to the woods to hide, the hunter killed a wild boar and took out its heart. He brought it to the queen, and the queen, seeing Snow White's heart, laughed loudly. As the night passed, Snow White was very scared of the deep dark woods. There were monsters all around her. Snow White was so scared, she sat down under a tree and cried. The nearby animals heard Snow White's cries and comforted her. "Oh, hey guys." "Why am I crying?" "Well, I'm very scared. I have nowhere to stay. Could you guys please help me?" "Oh, you know somewhere to stay? Well, please lead the way." The animals led Snow White to a cabin where 7 dwarves lived. Snow White went to the cabin and said goodbye to the animals. She got in their beds and slept. A few hours passed and the 7 dwarves come back from their mines. They go to their cabin and surprisingly they see Snow White sleeping on their beds. "Huh? What is this girl doing on our beds? Huh? What is she doing here?" Snow White, who was woken up by the 7 dwarves, apologized and said, "Oh, is this your place? I'm so sorry, but I have nowhere to stay and my mother is planning to kill me." "What? Your mother is planning to kill you? How horrible!" "Well, you can stay here for a while, we don't mind." So Snow White and the 7 dwarves got in their beds and slept. The very next morning, the evil queen got up and asked the mirror once again, "Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" To her surprise, the magic mirror said once again, "You, my queen, are indeed very beautiful, but Snow White is still the fairest of them all." "What? Snow White is still alive? That hunter! He dare trick me! I just have to do this myself." Well, magic mirror, where is Snow White at? The magic mirror then showed a picture of a cabin and said, "Snow White is living in a cabin with 7 kind dwarfs." The evil queen disguised herself as an old lady and got a poisoned apple. She went to the cabin and offered Snow White the apple. But since Snow White was so kind-hearted, she didn't expect the apple to be poisoned, so she accepted the apple happily. Snow White then bit into the apple and fell to the ground. She really fell for it! How dumb of her! Now I shall leave. And then the evil queen left. Many hours passed, and the 7 dwarfs finally come back from their work. They go to their cabin, and there they see Snow White laying on the ground. And they try everything to wake her up, but nothing works. But then, a prince from a nearby kingdom was walking past and saw Snow White laying on the ground. He was enchanted by her looks and asked the dwarfs what happened. The 7 dwarfs then explained everything. After hearing this, the prince then bent down and kissed Snow White on the lips. Mwah! Oh my! Snow White, you have awoken! Will you come to my kingdom with me? You are so beautiful. Snow White, who saw the handsome prince, fell in love at first sight and happily agreed. She went to his kingdom and they lived happily ever after. The end.